you're going to want to do is remove the cap off the master cylinder here. So the way you do that is you take this bar right here and you want to slide it this way. I usually like to peck it on something, especially since we're taking this one off. I'm just going to peck it a little bit, try to get it loose here. There's one side, there's the other side. These things can be a little more tension than I'd like. So you can go ahead and remove this and take a look and see how much fluid is in there. This is the main reason why we're replacing this master cylinder here. I mean, look at the buildup here on the lower bowl side. These boots are a mess, and it's just not in good shape. It's been on here for quite some time. So I'm just going to put this off to the side here. And then in there, the bowls are full on both of mine. So we're going to need to probably crack these loose, and you could probably just go ahead and remove the fluid through here. You could also bleed it out the brake lines if you wanted to, down on the calipers. Either way is fine, but right now we're just going to go ahead and break these loose and have them come out from there. So there's two brake lines. You can see them from this angle right here. Got one there and one there. So we're going to go ahead and bust those loose with a line wrench and take those off. So I went ahead and put a bucket underneath of this so I catch most of the fluid. This is a 9/16. So we're just going to put our wrench in here and put it on there and then go downwards. Now, let's say these are pretty tight, so you don't want to apply too much pressure bumping on because it's on the brake boost. You don't want to jar anything there. But I'm just going to go ahead and work that out now. Now we'll just set that off to the side, and I'll do the back one. There we go. Those two are off. And then next what we're going to do is there's two bolts, one here and one over here. Actually, they're nuts that we want to take off so that way we can relieve the master cylinder from the brake booster. So I'm going to go ahead and get a socket and ratchet for that. Now because of the tight positioning, it's kind of hard to get to this guy. So this is one of the nuts right there on the stud. So what we're going to do is take our 9/16 short. Hopefully I can fit it on there. Okay, got it on there. And then we're just going to bump it loose. Whoops, camera fell over. So I went ahead and removed it without noticing that camera fell over, but I'm removing it again to show you. So went ahead and pulled that out, and there we go. We got the nut there. Got to go to the other side now. There we go. That one busted loose. The camera fell over this time. Okay, when I took that nut all the way off, now send that off to the side. I should be able to take the master cylinder now, lift up a little bit, pull it out slow. I'm not going to try to spill any of that fluid there. Bring the bucket with me, and now it's out of the car. Now I'm going to go pour this fluid out real quick, do it in a safe manner. And we'll go ahead and come back and we'll take a look and see what this looks like. Okay, I went ahead and poured the fluid into the Country Fresh bucket here. And it's got a whole bunch of rust particles in there. It's not looking the best. It's kind of gross. When we take a look at the master cylinder here, look at all the deposit and crap in there. This is just gross. Let me see if I can turn my camera on real quick, or my light on real quick to show you. Let's see if we can get a better view of that. That is disgusting. Good thing we are changing this out all together here. So go ahead and throw this in the Country Fresh bucket and put it out of the way. we got the master cylinder out of the way, all we have left is 4 nuts on the firewall there. And we also have the brake hose, brake booster hose, and then I believe on the inside, obviously something's connecting it to the brake pedal, so we'll have something in there to undo as well. So we'll probably undo the brake hose real quick, and then go inside, and then we'll do the 4 nuts on the firewall. Do the catch valve. I'm just gonna go and pull it out, and then spin this out right here. Oh, it's got a nice tight seal. There we go. I'll just put that back in there now. All right, now coming into the car here. So underneath, you follow the brake pedal up. You see where it connects right there. So there's this little clip here. You just need to pull back. Sorry about this. I gotta hold the camera while doing this. You just gotta pry back the clip. I got the clip pried back a little bit. Now I'm just gonna spin it around and pull it out. This is what the clip looks like right here. So once you get that out, then you can push the little pin outwards. You should have enough room to come all the way out. There we go. And just set that off to the side. And then we will go back into the engine bay on the firewall and take the other part out, other 4 bolts out. So just from looking at these are gonna be a pain. So down in here, underneath all the wires and mess here, there's 4 studs. You could probably see one right there. So we gotta take the nut off of each one of those studs. So there's 4 of them. I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera because I know it's gonna be a pain. So just take your time. You might be able to get a socket in there. You might have to do it all the way with the wrench, but hopefully yours aren't corroded where they'll just be able to come out with your fingers after. So I'm just gonna go and do that. Alright, so I went ahead and took the 4 nuts off. I did end up taking this relay or whatever this is off because it was in my way. So I went ahead and took it off real quick. But man, this was not easy to take those 4 bolts or 4 nuts out. I wish they would have made it a little bit simpler, but it's just a tight spot. So what we should do now is we should just be able to pull it out here. Watch it pulling on here. And voila, here it is. I was taking a quick once around on this thing. It's original, so at least for when they ever converted to disc brakes in the front. So we could probably use a new one. So we did get a remanufactured one from Advanced Auto Parts. I believe they get the Cardone brand, or Cardone brand, whatever you want to say for that. Well, let's go ahead and bust into that one. So here they are next to each other. So they look exactly the same. The bolts and where the nuts need to go are on the same spots. This one's upside down right now, but this would be rolled around and this would be up on the top left, like it is on the car. Coming around the back side. Everything's the same back here. The only thing I noticed that this one has the brake pedal hookup. So we'll have to take that off this one and put it onto that one. And we want to try to make it the same exact throw, so we'll want to have similar positioning on that one when we bolt it up to it. So let's go ahead and take that off and transfer it to the other side. So the first thing I'm going to try to do is put my screwdriver through the hole here, and put my wrench on the bottom, and I'm kind of going to see if I can twist that loose. And sure enough, seems like it did come loose, but I don't, the actual nut did come loose. Okay. So I backed that off a little bit. Okay, just backed it off a teeny bit. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a flat blade, I think, and I think I'm going to try to shove it under this. It should be able to pop out, but it's just like a little retainer clip. This is like one of those shark tooth things, like that. We'll set that off to the side. Should be able to thread this off now. There we go. So I never moved this guy right here, the nut. So go ahead and look at the other one now. All right, so with a tape measure, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from the base of the old one right here. I'm just going to measure up to the top of the nut. So it's about 6 1/4. And we'll measure from this guy, from the base. Let's go ahead and make sure that these arms are about the same length too. So that's 2 3/4. That's 2 3/4. Okay, we should be good then. Everything should be the same length. So 6 1/4 for the top of the nut. Okay, that's there right there, and we'll double check our measurements real quick. 6 1/4. 6 1/4 there. All right. Once that's done, we'll take this guy here, and we'll thread this guy onto the shaft there. And then I'm gonna look in the box real quick and see if we have a new one of these teeth. And no, we do not have a new one. So what I'm gonna do is just straighten this one out, and we're gonna reuse it. All right, with it straightened out now, we're gonna slide it on in there, and then see if we can push it down on there. All right, that's down on there. And we'll go ahead and tighten that guy up to there. Alright, those two are now nice and tight and mated. So now that can go back on the vehicle. Like how that looks. Now before I put it back on, to make this easier, I'm going to go through and clean each one of these with a wire brush real quick. I just want it to go a little bit smoother than it did coming out. So there's also a good chance to clean back there if you'd like. My car is already dirty, so I'm not going to worry about it. When I do a full restoration on this one day, we'll do it then. Alright, let's go ahead and take the new one here after I clean those up. And we're just going to go ahead and slide it in there. Remember which way the brake booster hose went. So that way you put it back the correct way. Mine's in the upper left way. Alright, that went ahead and pushed right back in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and go inside the cabin real quick to make sure everything's okay in there before I start tightening up those nuts. Now those nuts, I'm going to do those again off camera because they're such a pain. So I did clean them up, they did feel a little better, but I'm going to do them off camera still. Alright, so here's the new master cylinder here. So we're taking it out of here. And what you got to do is you got to bleed it. So you have to actually bench bleed it, which means putting it in a vise, and you have to actually pump the fluid through here. And what we're going to do is we're going to pump it out of these holes here, and then we're going to travel it back up into here with a couple of hoses. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up. My master cylinder came with instructions and everything that I need to actually do that. So I bought an extra kit, didn't know that this one came with it. So win for me. So I'm going to go ahead and mount it in the vise here. Alright, it's nice and secure now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take off the top here. So go ahead and take that off. This cap looks so much better than the other one. Remember how these were all hanging down? That was awful. So we'll set that off to the side now. And we'll want to take off the little hose plugs here. I'm going to turn on the light real quick. So we want to take off the little hose plugs here. And we'll set those off to the side. And let's go ahead and get the kit out of the box. So this is the kit that it came with here. So it has all the needle valves and everything like that we need. So what we're going to do is take this out and get it set up here. Alright, after inspecting their kit, I'm not a big fan of it, so I did end up buying the bench bleeder kit, like I mentioned. $10 off of Advanced Auto, so I'm just gonna use this one. Feel more comfortable with it. So we just gotta find the right size now. So it's not the blue. Try this red one, not this red one. A little bit larger in diameter, it looks like, so. There's one of them. Grab the other, that size. Set the other ones in this bag. That's actually two different sizes. Alright, grab a pair of pliers real quick. Alright, those are nice and tight now. Now what we're going to do is set up our clips on the top. So we'll slide that one right there. That one right there. I'll take our hoses. Slide them on. Now you want to actually submerge this all the way down in there. Alright, now that the hoses are all set up here, I don't really like how they collapse on themselves. That's kind of silly to me, but go ahead and roll with them. Maybe they'll be a little better once we actually start. So that's all set up here. We're going to tighten the vise two more times here. Okay, and then we're going to pour some fluid in there. Make sure you're using .3 fluid. We need to pump it up. So down on the end here, there's the plunger. That's where the brake booster would hook up. And what we're going to do is we're going to be pushing this forward, causing it to pump fluid through the line. So I can just do this with my thumb right now, but it might get a little bit tougher as more fluid comes to it. So I'm just going to take the end of the pliers here. And what we're looking for is no more bubbles. So let's go ahead and get a little bit closer here. I'm going to keep pumping this up here till there are no more bubbles. And I'm doing a complete plunger press. That way I really make sure it's getting everything out. Alright, so there are no more bubbles now. And we can go ahead and take off the lines and see if we can try not to make a mess here. So hopefully we can do this pretty easily. Nice is that not a lot of fluid comes out. There we go, all the fluids back in there. Alright, now we're going to just cap it with these plugs real quick. Make sure, see if we can stop any fluid from leaking out here. Alright, cleaned up a little bit. And now we can take it to the car. Alright, now we can go ahead and take off these warning tags here. And we can go ahead and slide that on. Nice and clean, I like how it looks. And then we can go ahead and put our nuts on those studs. Okay, that's on now, and I'm going to slide on brake booster hose. Alright, brake booster's now on, and now we can go ahead and hook back up the lines. So with the 9/16 line wrench, we'll do that. I was having a hard time getting this hose on, so I went ahead and just did it off camera real quick. But I'm just tightening it up now. And I don't know, when the line gets a little bit sideways or cockeyed, it can get a little hard to get it started again. But it was the right size and everything, obviously. But it's going in now. Just had to apply a little pressure as I was starting the nut. So I'm gonna tighten that down nice and good. Alright, and I already did this one here. So there we go. Master cylinder is done. Power booster is done. And now we got to move on to the calipers. I got new calipers, new brake hoses, and everything like that. It's just all on that big pile of parts down there. So we'll start taking all apart the, taking off the wheels, taking apart the caliper brackets, take the calipers off, and we'll replace those. Alright, so I took the wheels off after jacking it up in the air, and these are the brake calipers and rotors that are on the vehicle right now. So the rotors are pretty good. They're just a little bit rusty, but we're going to go ahead and just reuse those. And then the caliper is going to come back off, and we got new brake pads for it too, and new brake hoses. So we're going to go ahead and change all three of those, and we'll do it on this side and see what it looks like. So for the two caliper bolts here, it's a hex and it's a hex 3/8. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put that on there. Bump on down and take each one of those out. Alright, so next thing I want to do is I want to actually dislodge the brake caliper hose. That way, while it's still on the vehicle here, it's not going to be flopping around. I can actually get this off relatively easily. So this is the bolt right here, right there. So on my vehicle, it's a 5/8. There we go. There goes my 5/8 socket. That's cool. Alright, now we can go ahead and remove the caliper. So, I might have to get the pry bar out, I may not have to. Looks like we're going to have to. So, we'll get the pry bar. Alright, just sticking the pry bar underneath there, a couple different spots. Alright, sure I catch more of this fluid out of the caliper here. And there we go. Caliper is now off. And in my case, obviously, since I bought these from the parts store, they're going to want this one back. So I'll have to put it in the box and send it back to them. Alright, so that's why I go ahead and just double check my parts before I take them off. I ended up ordering the wrong brake hose, so I'm going to go ahead and leave this one that's on there, and we're just going to put on the new brake caliper. So this is the new brake caliper right here. I mean, it's really, really nice, all cleaned up, looking good. Same exact thing. So what we're going to go ahead and do is put the brake pads in there, and we're going to go ahead and mount it onto the rotor. Alright, the brake pad's mounted in there. Just going to go ahead and try to slide this on here. I did clean up the rotor a little bit too, so that way it'd be nice and clean. Alright, that's looking good. And we got our 2 bolts. Just slide in there. Make sure they're all lined up here. Top one's lined up, bottom one needs a little bit of adjustment. There we go. Bottom one's in. Taking our hex again. There we go. That caliper's physically on, and now we need to connect the brake hose. So also in this kit, we did get 2 copper washers and the bolt for it. So I'm going to clean up the brake hose real quick, just with a paper towel and some brake cleaner. Anyway, it's nice and clean. So 1 washer on here. Alright, I have it started. I'll show you where it is here real quick. So it's right down there. So I started it up, and now I'm just going to tighten that up real quick. Okay, I'm going to turn this wheel back. There. Hose is not kinked or anything like that. It's nice, and I think we're done on this side. So I'll go ahead and do the other side off camera, and then I'll show you after we're done on that side. So now we have both calipers on. There's one, that's the driver's side, going around to the passenger side. There's number 2. And I have my bleeder bottle set up, so I'm going to go ahead and bleed out these brakes. If you don't know how to do this, just Google it. I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera because my helper is going to be helping me, and it's kind of hard to get this. So we're just going to go ahead and bleed them off camera, but we'll show you after it's done. And make sure you keep that master cylinder filled up. Alright, the brakes are bled on both sides. Now we're going to throw back on the wheels, lower it down off the jack. I got tons of pressure on the pedal, way better than before, so this is already going to make a world of difference. So let's go ahead and drop this down. Alright, so we got the car started up now after that, and I'm going to go ahead and press the brakes now. Oh, that feels a ton better. Lots of pressure there. I really think that vacuum is working out really well. So we're going to go ahead and put it in drive and see how this does. And you can see my idle is only around like 400. Alright, we're coming up to a stop sign up here. Not too bad, not too bad. That's a hard brake right there. Another hard brake. Kind of braking in these brake pads and rotors too. Turn around here. Go ahead and hit the brakes again. That's not bad for this giant of a car. So I think these brakes are working out really well. So we just got back from our car ride here, and honestly the brakes have made a huge difference. That is, we actually have some brake pressure at idle and at low RPM, and at high speeds we got good braking power to come to a stop, and those needed to be situations. So I really like these upgrades, and if you thought this video was helpful, please make sure to put a like on the video, and so also subscribe to my channel. I'll put a couple links up here at the end showing a couple other related videos. But until next time.